guys? Welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy. He is 35 years old, and he's going to share his story about how recently he's called off the engagement to his fiancée after finding out some details about her life that she neglected to mention when they got together. He actually found out not from her, but he found out from her family, by accident, of course. And he is now looking for my advice, as well as you guys, on pretty much how to handle the situation going forward. Because as you can imagine, he's got family and friends and all that sharing their opinions, saying that he overreacted and all that. And so he wants to hear from a bunch of guys that have been around the block and have some life experience. So there's going to be some audience participation here. So at the end, you guys definitely should comment to help this guy out because he's on the fence. And I want to point out that he's been with this girl for 4 years, engaged to her for 1, and he really thought he found the love of his life, everything's going to be great, but then this bombshell happened, and then there you go. And no, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to let you guys discover it in real time as I read the story. So, it starts off, he says, Hey SSM, I found your channel from a recommended video. The video was a story about a lady that was engaged and started demanding her fiancé treat her like an equal until she had to mow the grass. I still find myself laughing about that one and have shared with many of my friends. Well, bro, that video is probably the most popular video I've done in over a year, and it's still getting incredible views. So I'm glad you found me through that video, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. I find myself in a situation in my own life, and after reading a lot of the advice that people post on your videos, I figured it couldn't hurt to see if I could get some other opinions. Basically, I called off my engagement to a woman I'd been with for a little more than 4 years and engaged to for 1 because I needed time to think about my situation. My mom, her mom, and all her friends think I'm wrong for what I did, but I just don't know how to get past it. Well, of course, all the women are sticking together and sticking with her. What do you expect? That's usually how these things go. But if your gut tells you a situation is wrong and something's up, then you got to trust that. That's a common theme through all the different stories I go over. There are red flags. Guys, their gut tells them something, but they don't listen to it, and they regret it later on down the road. So you did the right thing, obviously, by cutting off the engagement if you felt something was wrong. And you guys will see in a moment what that is. He says, I'll try to keep the story short and only include the pertinent details. Rachel, as we'll call her, is 33 and I'm 35. We've been together a little more than 4 years and living together for the last year. Last year I popped the question and she said yes. I really love her, and while marriage wasn't something I was looking for, I thought she was someone I could be happy with. Well, if marriage wasn't something that you were looking for, why'd you propose? Did you get the impression that she was going to walk if you didn't? You could have just a good relationship with her and, just take it like that. I mean, I know a lot of people, let me rephrase that. I know some people, but I know a lot of situations in terms of like couples that have actually never got married, but they just stay together and then they're great. But then, like a lot of Hollywood couples, they're together forever, then they get married and they break up within 2 years. So you can just be with her. But you're going to see here, he has reason to cut things off completely. I really like her family and her dad and brother. They like to include me in things like going fishing and hanging out. We have a few couples that we spend time with, and I thought we had a fun social life. Thought, he said. I had some girlfriends over the years, but never met anyone that I trusted or thought about making a life with. I wasn't against the idea of marriage, but everyone that I know that has been married, including my own parents, have ended in divorce. Let's just say it's given me a reason to be a little more discerning in my own life about something as serious as marriage. Well, dude, if you said here that pretty much all these people that you know in your life, including your own parents, have been divorced, that ought to tell you something. I mean, you're new to the channel, but I've been doing this for 2 years and done countless stories about this and lots of news articles about statistics and all that. And the numbers are staggering in terms of the divorce rate, particularly in the West nowadays. There's a more than 50% chance, actually I think it's 60, that if you get married, you're going to get divorced. So, 60% chance you marry this girl, you're going to get divorced. And given how the family laws are in this country, depending on how long you are with her, what state you live in, you can get raked over the coals with regards to the house, if you own a house together, child support, alimony, custody, splitting of the assets. Just something to really think about and research. He goes, I'm possibly too cautious, but time will tell, I guess. We go out with our friends at least twice a month, and I've enjoyed spending time with them. One of the couples we spend time with, we call Eric and Belle, are the couple we spend the most time with. I met them through Rachel. Eric is an old friend of hers, and he seems nice enough. It wasn't uncommon for us to spend time at their place and them at ours. I never saw anything out of line between Rachel and Eric, and just took her word that they were old friends. Eric and Belle seem to have a really good relationship, and he's talked to me privately about asking her to marry him. I've enjoyed spending time with both of them, and Eric has been fun to talk to. Rachel and I were putting the plans for our wedding ceremony together about 6 months before our wedding, when she suggested that I make Eric one of my groomsmen. A little suggestion about who should be in your wedding party. I didn't really see a problem with that, so I agreed. To make the lineup even, Rachel said she was going to ask Belle to be one of her maidens. All the planning for the wedding was going great, and I was getting pretty excited about our wedding day. It was about 3 weeks after that day that Rachel's dad and brother invited me to go to the lake for some fishing on a Saturday morning. You know what they say, a bad day fishing is better than a good day at work. I met them at the lake, and the day started off pretty well. We were fishing from the bank and doing what guys do when they're out fishing, shooting the shit and telling lies about the one that got away. We'd been fishing for about 2 hours when I told them about the plans we made for the wedding party. Her brother was also one of my groomsmen, and I let them know that Eric would be joining the pack. That was when the problem came up. Her brother was shaking his head and told me I was a better man than he was. I didn't know what he was talking about, so I asked him. He said that he would never be able to invite one of his fiancée's ex-boyfriends to the wedding, let alone make him a groomsman. I was so shocked at what he said, I actually dropped my fishing pole. I asked him what he was talking about. He looked at me with a confused look on his face before telling me that Eric and Rachel dated for more than 3 years before she and I got together. So this dude that's in this couple that this guy and his girlfriend hang out with all the time is her ex-boyfriend of 3 years. And she just neglected to mention that. And you guys have been hanging out, and I might add, she asked him to make the ex-boyfriend in the wedding party. I mean, you want to talk about effed up there. You think she could have mentioned that early on when they got together, that, my ex and I have remained friends, giving this guy the chance to, decide whether he wants his girlfriend to be hanging out with and buddies with her ex. Well, it doesn't stop there, guys, because there's more to this. Let's see here. Her dad said he thought that I knew about the relationship. I told him that she only told me that Eric was an old family friend. I think they could tell I was pissed. Her brother said that she thought she was going to marry him, but he never asked her, so she got tired of waiting, so she broke up with him. She started dating me only 4 months later. Oh boy, so not only is she a liar and plays games and all that, but also this was the dude she was with for years. She wanted to marry him, but he wouldn't ask her, so finally it was like, okay, that's it. And she walked. And then she found this guy. Again, a pretty girl is not going to have a hard time finding another dude. Okay, and I might add, if he said that, I guess at the present time, she's 33 years old. When this all went down, she was about 29. What have I told you guys more times than I can remember that women fear turning 30? And the reason they fear it, well, amongst many reasons, is that they want to be on the way to the altar. So if they're not on the way to the altar, they start panicking. And so they're going to find replacements if that guy they've been with for a while isn't going to do it. So it sounds like she was about 29 years old at the time when there was the breakup. And then she found this dude 4 months later, the next guy. And you know what? Maybe she really liked this guy. I'm going to assume that she did, the guy telling the story, and had a great thing with him, a lot of fun. But neglected to mention that the buddy they're hanging out with is the ex. Not cool. You don't form a foundation of a relationship on a lie. And again, the details of that she wanted him to marry her and all that. So this is a very screwed up situation, and this is not a good thing for a guy who's already has issues with marriage to begin with to find out. And he doesn't take it well. I'm pretty sure my face was beet red and I felt like a damn fool. Dude, nobody can blame you. All this time she had me spending time with her ex-boyfriend, going out together, shaking his hand, and treating him like a friend. All the while, she was lying to me about who he was to her. I felt like a damn cuck. I thanked her dad and brother for telling me the truth and ended up leaving to go home. There were some answers I needed to get, and they weren't at the lake. On the ride home, all I could think about was all the time we spent with Eric and Belle. I know they acted friendly towards one another, but there wasn't anything that I would say was crossing any lines. They acted like old friends like she told me. I couldn't help but wonder if Belle knew about the former relationship. Well, I've read this already, but the first time I read it, I definitely thought, no way she knew about this. I've heard stories where people make better friends and lovers, and I've never really asked Rachel about her past. Well, my friend, that was a mistake. You should have been asking about her past. Not that she'd give you the truth or the whole truth, but you should have asked. You must. If this is a girl you're going to marry, bro, you darn well need to do some serious investigating, some serious PI work to find out all the details. Because, again, for a guy that knows a lot of people who have been divorced, you don't want that to happen to you, so you need to know all the details. Because, believe me, these things will come out eventually, and you don't want it to happen after you already put a ring on her finger, when the government is now involved. As long as it was in the past, it didn't matter to me. Well, I disagree with that frame of thought. That was a problem that was kicking me in the teeth. Her past was in my present, and I didn't like it. My first instinct was to go in and confront her to find out why she would do something like that to me, but I've always tried to avoid making decisions when I'm angry. We had plans to have dinner with Eric and Belle that evening, so I decided to wait until we were together before asking about the relationship. You're going to blindside him. That's going to be interesting. It says here, I didn't want them to be able to coordinate an answer. The 4 hours I had to wait for dinner was the longest 4 hours of my life. Rachel could tell that there was something bothering me when I got home from the lake, but I brushed it off as nothing. I don't think she believed me, but it was the best I could do without exploding. I did my best to avoid her until dinner, and it wasn't easy. I'm not sure how other women are, but when Rachel feels like there's something wrong, she's like a pit bull until she gets answers. Women can tell when something's wrong. Women can tell when guys are acting off. It's like one of their superpowers. And you can just say, I'm fine, and they know you're not fine. So she knew something was up. Anyhow, I did my best to keep my composure after Eric and Belle arrived for dinner. That lasted about halfway through dinner. I asked Belle if she knew that Rachel and Eric had dated for over 3 years. Again, I like to be the fly on the wall in that conversation. From the look of shock on her face, it was easy to see that she was in the dark about it as much as I was. Both Rachel and Eric immediately started trying to explain that they were only friends and that in the past didn't matter. Bullshit, the past always does matter. Let's just say fine, okay, let's just say they broke up and there was nothing going on, no hooking up or anything like that. They actually parted ways and moved on but stayed friends. Okay, fine. But still, you should have told, he should have told her, that dude should have told the girlfriend Belle, and your girl should have told you. Okay, laid all the cards on the table, and certainly shouldn't have been hanging out, make you think he's his buddy, and let's put him in the wedding party, I might add, because this is the guy she really wanted to marry initially, but now he didn't do it, so now she chose you. And I'm sure you're awesome, but you get my point. I asked Rachel why she lied to me, and she was swearing that she never lied to me. Oh, for God's sakes. Okay, let's twist things around now. They were only friends and nothing more. I told her, you didn't spend 3 years effing your friends. Belle was reading Eric the riot act about lying to her. The entire room was complete chaos. I'm not sure how long we were having a four-way shouting match, but it came to an end when Belle got up and left the apartment with Eric, trying to get her to talk to him. Rachel was still trying to get me to calm down, but now that I knew she lied about her history and forced him into my life, I couldn't help but wonder if they had something else going on. No one would blame you at all. Who knows? Flip a coin, dude. I really couldn't tell you. But it's like, if she's going to lie about this and do all these things, what the hell else is she going to lie about? This is why you do a lot of investigating and you get serious with a girl, particularly if you ask her to become your future wife. I can't stress that enough. I was mostly under control, until she told me I wasn't being fair. Oh, for goodness sake. She's the one that lied. She's the one that deceived you for 4 years, and amongst many other things. You have to have trust in a relationship or it's not going to work. And he's being made out to be the bad guy. She's ridiculous. But she's probably hoping, or maybe her perception of the guy who wrote this story in, is that he'll cave. Well, she's wrong. She said that she and Eric were only friends. I told her how betrayed I felt by her inviting her ex-boyfriend into my life and not having enough respect for me to tell me who he was. Then she lit the fuse that ended our engagement. She told me that I was acting insane. Uh-oh. I exploded. I told her that she lied to me about who he was to her, and if I knew he was an ex-boyfriend, I would never would have allowed him to be part of her life. She said I wasn't being fair because she didn't do anything wrong with Eric. She was insisting that it was in the past and it didn't matter. The fact that she lied all this time and all these other things, playing for a fool with this guy, blah, 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 and the fact that you confront her on this and she's still acting like she didn't do anything wrong, that says a lot about her. Either A, she knows she did something wrong, but she's putting on a big act and trying to make you out to be the bad guy. Again, not cool. Or B, she actually doesn't get it. And that's something you don't want to have in your life. Said that she kept insisting that the past and it didn't matter. That only pissed me off. I told her that he was in my home and spending time with us. That wasn't in the past. I asked her how she would feel if I invited one of my ex-girlfriends to spend time with us, or asked her to make one of them a maid of honor in the wedding. She tried to say she wouldn't care if they were only friends. Yeah, right. I ended up leaving the apartment and after that and drove to my mom's. I didn't know what to do, but I didn't want to look at Rachel. It's good you got out of there. Seriously. Because, you know, you guys just go round for round for round, and you need your space to figure shit out. When I told my mom what had been going on, she told me I was overreacting. Oh, for God's sakes. This is what you need to talk to a man about, not your mom. Women are going to stick together, and I might add that your mom's probably looking forward to a big wedding. I've done stories about this where engagements are broken off, and it's the mothers that throw a little temper tantrum because they're looking forward to that wedding, and they think the guy should just forgive the girl or whatever. Remember, there's always bias, and remember the gals will stick together unless the future mother-in-law, has serious issue with the girl. She said they were only friends, so it wasn't a big deal. Maybe I was overreacting, but I couldn't change how I was feeling. I didn't know what the right answer was, but the only thing I did know was that I felt like a complete fool. Dude, trust your feelings, okay? Just like Obi-Wan Kenobi said to Luke, trust your feelings. If your feelings, your gut is telling you something's off, you gotta listen to them, okay? End of story. And it doesn't make a difference what anybody else says. It's your freaking life. Plenty of dudes have written me stories where they didn't listen to their gut, and didn't do what was right for them, and did what everybody else told them to do, and they, believe me, had lived to regret that. It was about 3 hours before I went home and found Rachel crying on the couch. Good Lord, we got sirens and we got seagulls and everything distracting me in this video today, honest to God. But when I walked in, she ran over and wrapped me in a hug, trying to apologize for not telling me about the history with Eric. She was swearing they had never done anything since we had been together. I told her I just needed time to think about it and ended up going to bed. She tried to talk to me a few more times until I yelled at her to leave me alone. I think we ended up both falling asleep crying. Yeah, of course, when you walked, well, I say all the time, the most powerful thing you can do is walk. They were fighting and all that, and he left. Good. She came back, she was crying. The last line of defense for girls is start bawling their eyes out, because that usually melts most guys. The following week was pretty bad, too. I could accept that she didn't cheat on me, but I couldn't get over her lying to me and forcing me to spend time with her ex completely unaware. Maybe she didn't cheat on you, and that would be great that she didn't cheat on you, but how do you know down the road something would have happened with you all being so close? It was Thursday after work that I told her I was ending our engagement because I couldn't figure out how to get over what she had done to me. She had a meltdown. I couldn't kick her out of our apartment because it was in both our names for 7 more months, and I didn't have anywhere else to go. I moved my things to the spare bedroom. Oh, shit, man, so you're still under the same roof together. That was 3 months ago. Eric and Bill are still together, but she told him the only way she would stay with him is if he stopped spending time with Rachel. There you go. Could have called that one. So they are both out of our lives. Rachel's still trying to convince me not to give up on our relationship and apologizing for not telling me about the history with Eric. Oh, wait a second here. I thought she said earlier that she didn't do anything wrong. And now she's apologizing. And is it a genuine apology, or is it like, fine, I'm sorry? I'd like to know what kind of apology that is. I've been getting bombarded with calls and texts from our mutual friends and family telling me that I'm overreacting and I need to get over it and give her a chance. Her brother is the only one that seems to feel the same way about it that I do. Thank the Lord. And notice it's a man that feels the same way. How does her father feel? Now, that could be a little biased because daddy's girl is upset, but what about your father? I'd like to know about that. Or any other men in your family or other guys you're close with. But if you got a bunch of women that are telling you you're overreacting, I'm not surprised there. No matter what, if the whole world is telling you you're overreacting, if you're not feeling right about this, you shouldn't get married to her. End of story, man. Our wedding is still scheduled in about 3 months, and I need to make a decision soon so I can either figure out a way to make this right in my mind and get married or start canceling the venues. I understand that everyone has a past. This isn't the part I'm stuck on. My wedding day was supposed to be about Rachel and I sharing our special day with each other. Okay, ease up on the mush, dude. I'm going to barf. After finding out about Eric, I realized I was going to have to share our wedding day with one of her former lovers. I hate being lied to and being made to look like a fool. If she would have told me about her and Eric's history from the start, we wouldn't have been spending time with them, but there wouldn't be anything wrong with our relationship right now. I wouldn't say there wouldn't be anything wrong with your relationship. Other shit could have happened, but I get what you mean, yeah. I'd really appreciate some opinions from people that aren't in the middle of this. Am I looking at this wrong? If you happen to notice the story, thanks for any insight you or your community can give me. I'm feeling pretty lost right now. So there you go, guys. That was the big secret, that she was hiding this friend they were hanging out with for years, and the best buddies, the couples friends and all that. He was doing the girl before. That was the ex. That was the ex. I mean, for you guys watching this, imagine for you relationship guys, everybody else has that couple they hang out with, you know? And you found out years after years, the dude that you hang out with, the couple's friend, actually was the ex of your girl. How would you feel about that? Not too happy. She kept it quiet. So now he wants to know from me and the community what he thinks our views are on this is and what we should do. Now, I kind of answered the question throughout the story, but I'll say it again to finish this up. Dude, she lied to you. Okay? All relationships are built on trust, and if it started off with a lie, there you go. Okay? And if she had told you from the beginning, probably you would have said, well, you know what? I don't want you hanging out with your ex. That's great you're on amicable terms, but I want you hanging out with him because I'm not going to hang out with him. But she didn't do that. The question is, why does she want to keep him in your life? Why does she not only want to keep him in her life, but also close? Think about that, right? Was it to show you off? Was it to make him jealous? Was it to maybe hope that maybe one day he'd realize he'd see you, her with you, and maybe change his mind, not want to lose her? Who knows? Because there's something deep going on there to want to have the ex so close in life. That's my opinion. That's my gut feeling on this. But putting that aside, she still lied to you, did all that stuff, and your gut is telling you can't trust her. So, with all these stories I've been doing for the last 2 years, how many guys have had situations early in their relationship they would tell me about, and they sensed something was off, their gut was telling them something was wrong, but they didn't listen to it. They went anyway, married the girl, whatever, and then later on, what their gut was telling them turned out to be a problem or whatever. So, in my opinion, even though you got a lot of people, the majority telling you you're overreacting or whatever, if your gut is telling you something is wrong, listen to it. Don't marry the girl. But you got to make your decision quick because you said you got 3 months. And obviously you got to probably make a decision before you start losing deposits and all that. And she needs to know as well as any other family that plan to travel to come to the wedding. People are probably booking hotels and flights and all that. So you owe it to the guests as well. But you need to make up your mind. So today is Thursday, and I'll probably publish this tomorrow on a Friday. So you got the weekend to figure this shit out, bro. And I wish you all the best. But like I said, you got to do what's best for you. If you decide to go with her, okay, you go with her. But if it was me, knowing what I know, I would call it off because the gut is saying all these things and just etc., etc. So I wish you the best. And again, guys, you're watching this, comment below. Let them know what you think about this. And be fair about this. And I particularly want to hear from you relationship guys. You relationship guys that in your past had a gut feeling about a situation, but you didn't listen to it, and then it came back to bite you in the ass. I want to hear from you guys to help this dude out. He needs you the most. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.